I'm going to hide me real quick. There we go. Awesome. Well, good afternoon, and thank you for sharing this time with me.
My pleasure.
So tell me your name and what do you do?
My name is Erick Klafter. I am the Senior Vice President of Northwood Retail, based here in Austin at Div Northside.
So if I was 8, tell me what you do.
I am in charge of everything that you see when a customer or a retailer comes to Div Northside. So all of the retail, residential, office buildings. My primary role is to make sure that we are full of wonderful tenants that fit the submarket for the great city of Austin, as well as to ensure an open, fun, friendly experience for all that visit.
And for someone who may not know what Div Northside is, explain what it is.
Div Northside is a super regional shopping center, mixed use. And mixed use is a general term used when there are multi-uses, just rather than a traditional shopping mall. There are elements of retail, residential, office, and we are located in northern Austin within the greater Domain area.
So tell us where you're born and raised.
I was born in New York City, but shortly after my birth, I was raised and lived in Los Angeles. Ever until I got into this career of 20 years and started moving around. Austin is home now, but I'm from LA.
So describe growing up.
Growing up, I grew up in the suburb of Los Angeles called the San Fernando Valley, the Valley, as people back in the 80s in my time called it. I'm a single child, so my mom and dad primary thing was to get me a good education, being in the suburbs out there. I grew up. I didn't even go outside of the valley until I was in my 20s, so didn't even know the Hollywood area. Although that people, when they think of Los Angeles, think of the Hollywood area or the beaches. It's home. It always will be. And I met my wife at the mall that I grew up in. That I caused trouble in when I was 15 or 16 years old. And God has a sense of humor and said, 20 years later, you will manage that shopping center in your career. And that's exactly what happened. Not once, not twice, but 3 times I managed the same shopping center I caused problems in. I ended up managing.
No, we're going to use that. That's good. That's really good. So imagine another young man growing up in LA. Imagine him looking at you and saying, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want to be just like him. What advice would you give him?
Well, I would give advice for anybody who wants to be in this kind of role to start, if you're interested in retail, to really grab a job at an entry level right out of high school, just like I did. I started at an old defunct department store based in Los Angeles as a guy looking for a Christmas job while I was in high school. Got hired for $5 an hour. I was in the young men's department, and I really just sort of fell in love with it. And if you understand, and as you go through that process of being a merchant and becoming, if you really like it, you become in the management of in the merchant side. That will really help you on the commercial property management side, because you understand the perspective of retailers. You understand their language when they speak about merchandising. And after all, the basic success of a shopping center is to have the right merchants that meet the market. That is the foundation of it. And then on top of that, then you put in the people and the experience, but you have to start out with the merchants. So if my advice would be try and find a role that fits you within. It doesn't have to be in the sales floor. It could be in operations. You could be the one offloading the truck. It doesn't matter. It is just to get your foot in the door and get that retail language mastered and understood, so you can take it and broaden your horizons with it.
What do you like most about your job?
I often say that the best day is when I walk around the shopping center and I see lots of people, lots of smiles, lots of shopping bags. I love the opening of a new store. I love going in and saying hello. Because the opening of a new store is a culmination of usually 9 to 12 months of work, from the introduction to the shopping center to the lease negotiations, to construction, pulling a permit, hiring the staff, doing the training, getting the merchandising in. It is a long process. So at the end of that very long road, you have a brand new open store and you wish nothing but success. But at the end of the day, my favorite thing is to walk outside on a Thursday afternoon or a Friday afternoon, or better on a Saturday when most of us are available to come shopping, and see the smiles, the fun, the families. That's just, at the end of the day, that's what gets you right here.
How do you give back?
Well, I often, that's a key part of this role. After all, as I said, you want to create and maintain a welcoming atmosphere for all. And that means you must be part, and not just a part, you must be an active participant in the community you're in. I've had the privilege of working in a lot of communities in Los Angeles, outside of Los Angeles, Houston, Austin, San Francisco, Sacramento. And the key to it all is if you are seen as not just a landlord who's running a shopping center, but you're seen as somebody who cares, who reaches out, who talks to the people that shop and visit and hear them out as far as what they like to see, what they like to experience, what we're doing wrong, where can we improve. I like hearing that. The feedback, the more of it, the better. Can we implement it all? We can at least discuss it. There's nothing wrong with an honest discussion of ideas. I don't know it all. I never professed that I know it all. And if there's a way to improve what we offer, then I'm all for it.
So I found some questions by Tim Ferriss that he asked a lot of his podcast
Sure.
folks, and I thought was kind of cool. One of them is really interesting, and I've had some interesting answers. One of the questions is, what is an unusual habit or absurd thing that you love?
Oh boy, gotta give me a second to think of that one.
Remembering everything is relative.
An absurd habit? I'm obsessed with washing my car. I'm a big car guy. And in LA, where it never rains, I was always washing it and waxing it. I've had to adapt the Austin way of things. But my wife laughs at me whenever there's hail in the area. I will move my car from the driveway into the garage, wipe it down, and then when it stops raining, I'll back it out again. And she thinks I'm just a wacko.
Okay, with that, there must be another one as well.
I'm also a pretty neat freak. I'm obsessive compulsive everywhere except my office. I'm not so much there, but when I get home, if there's a dish out of place, I have to stop what I'm doing. I come home from a trip and there's a dish in the sink. I have to stop and wash it. It's just one of those things I picked up from my mom that has just stayed with me.
Awesome. What purchase of $100 or less has positively impacted your life over the last 6 months or recent memory?
I think a helmet that I bought for my daughter's horse lessons. Um, she started horse lessons about a year ago. I didn't know what what a horse saddlery store was. I had to go find it. And then I walked in and humbly said, I don't know what I'm doing. Which was another interesting retail experience. Is like I've been in many retails, but until I moved to Austin, I had yet not been in a equestrian store. And so I had to describe what the hat looked like or what it was, and the lady was kind enough to buy it for me. And I showed a picture. I took it. I bought it. I took a picture of it, sent it to my daughter, and she was absolutely thrilled. So um, that was a recent one. That was less than $100.
Awesome. Awesome. If you had a gigantic billboard anywhere on the globe and you could get a message out to millions or billions of people, what would that message be?
I think it would be stop, listen, reflect, act. 4 simple words.
What do they mean to you?
I think we're human beings and we don't know everything. Um, I don't I don't utilize my title just because I have this title that I profess to know everything. I happen to have a philosophy that everybody brings something to the table. And if you don't stop and listen, not just to the people that work around you, but people that visit, you need to listen. It's amazing what perspectives you get when you just sort of slow down. I know we all busy, but just listen to what others have to say. And once you do, you'll be amazed at what you find out. And it may be something you initially say, you know what, I just don't see how that's going to happen. But then you think, so you got to think. You just don't act immediately. You got to think about what the bunch of ideas are. And it may not be exactly what somebody said, but it's like, well, what about if we were to, change it up a bit in this way, and it would come up with a positive outcome. And then if it makes sense, then you do it. Then you act upon it. But you just don't leap to act. You have to stop, take a breath, listen, and act upon those ideas. You'd be amazed at the positive results. And it's not just financial. Financial comes with it. But like I said, my favorite thing is not how much rent that our retailers are paying. My favorite thing is to walk outside and to see the smiling customers. That's what makes it all about.
How has failure or a challenge or apparent failure set you up for later success?
Oh, I have my share. Um, I've acted without talking, so without thinking. I think we're all guilty of that. Luckily, I've had some mentors in my past that have sat me down and pointed me in the right direction. My mom, my wife, ex-bosses, colleagues, you name it. And thanks to those relationships, even the most embarrassing things where you don't think, oh my God, you're never going to get out of this. How do what I put my foot in my mouth? Oh Lord. Um, but you learn again, you learn and you adapt and you grow as a leader, as a person, as a professional. And I've told some whoppers in my day.
What is one of the most worthwhile investments you've ever made? And it could be anything.
I think my investments, I'm not really financial, but in my family. My family is by far the most important thing in my life. I married late. I met my wife in my late 30s. Um, our daughter was born in my early 40s, and so right now, it is a balance that for work hours, because this never stops. Our professional lives never stop. You have to learn to control boundaries. And so I invest as much time, FaceTime with my daughter. I only and as much as I possibly can. And so I've been volunteered to build the set for my daughter's upcoming play of Moana, and so I'm building boats. I take my daughter to horse lessons. I'm there for her and my family. They are by far number one, um, and the best investment ever.
When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused or lost your focus, what do you do to get back to center?
Well, luckily, I work at a shopping center and a pretty awesome one at that. So when I get off a very difficult phone call or a contentious negotiation, I just walk out the door behind me, and I walk around and I just take a lap around. I calm down. I might go to Juice Land, might go to Starbucks. I go inside a store and just talk to a retailer, and or I'll go to the apartments. I will just zen, calm down. It's not the end of the world. There are solutions. I come back and I'm calmed down and I go on to the next thing. It is the most rewarding being at work. At home, take a lap, go outside, walk the dog, mow the lawn, anything. But it's just to, you know, think, walk around, calm down, and work on and find the right solution to keep on going.
Awesome. What life lessons have you learned?
Oh, over the years, to be humble, to be approach things with humility, to be open-minded, to be approachable, to be supportive. Those are all aspects of leadership, whether you're in professional or in your personal life. Care about what others think, um, and just try to do the best you can. I really believe that's so important. I really like what you do. I mean, I love what I do, and I don't know what I'd say if I didn't love what I do. Um, but there was one point in my career where I was sort of stuck in one position, and um, somebody came up to me and said, "You'd be really good at mall management." And I said, "Well, what is that?" And they explained it to me, and I said, I have those skills. I can really sort of blossom on those skills. I don't know the first thing about managing a shopping center, but I know I can do that. And I learned, and you only learn by saying I don't know. Ask questions, and so all those life lessons of just being a humble human being and learning, having mentors, being a mentor yourself, be a positivity for change, adaptability. If you have those, if you have those in mind while you're working through your day, um, you'll be success.
How long have you been in Austin?
I've been in Austin just over 2 years. We saw Labor Day. We moved in our house 2 years ago.
How would you describe Austin to others?
I describe Austin to everybody. All my family, my wife's family, and my family still are in Los Angeles. And I said, if you could pull out California as a whole and shove it into one city, it's Austin. I say that because when I moved from Houston from previous life to San Diego, when I was offered this job to come to Houston, I was living in San Diego. And when my wife and I were talking, if it was any other city, we probably would have remained in San Diego. But Austin just has that vibe, There are so many wonderful aspects to the city, from the hills to the water. I drove a boat for the first time since I lived in LA. I've never driven a boat. I come to Austin, I end up on the river driving a boat. Um, there are so many things to do. The people are fantastic. I see staying here for the long term. It's just been a very welcoming city, even though I'm from California and I'm one of those relo people. But it's been very, very easy to adapt to being an Austinite.
My dog she's whimpering. I call it crying because she wants to go out, but she'll be okay. So you have one daughter?
I do, yes.
So what do you think your daughter will say about you, or how would your daughter describe you? And what do you think she'd say about you after you're gone?
Well, I want my daughter to think that I have all of the things that we previously described. I'm supportive of her. I want her to do the best person she can be, and she has my full support, no matter what. To learn to be kind, welcoming, driven, honest with others, and just be that person that um, she can be proud of herself. Because if she's proud of herself, then of course I, as her dad, will always be proud of her as well. And once I'm gone, I want her to think back that, you know, hopefully she says that all of those life lessons that my dad learned, he tried to lead me away from those speed bumps that his mouth got into maybe once or twice. And she has learned about that, and she could just be better than her dad. But her dad was always there to support her, regardless and no matter what.
Did I ask you what's your purpose?
No, God, I've never been asked that before. Um, you got to give me a minute on that one. I've never asked my that purpose.
Or what's your place in life? What do you think is your purpose?
Well, up until I got married and had a family, that was probably a very good question because I focused on career quite a bit. And then at one point, I said to myself, I'm very good at this, but I'm pretty lousy when it comes to relationships. And so I made it a priority to um, reach out online. That's how I found my wife and I met. And so I really see, for me, just being with my family, being the supportive husband, being the a great dad, like my dad was. My dad was wonderful, or is wonderful. He's still alive. And if I'm remembered for anything else, I would be fine with that. From a professional standpoint, if I ever go on to something else, to be remembered just sort of as someone who made the project better than what it was when he came on board, and not just accept the status quo. So if 3 years from now I'm no longer here, the people that are, remember that guy who, put in that synthetic grass, that was, we really like that. And so that's just that. I hope that answers the question.
I think you kind of answered two of them. The other question is you kind of answered it already. How do you want people to remember you once you're gone?
Oh, just as a uh, uh, friendly, supportive, you know, uh, guy that was there for them when needed, uh, and one that is thought of more as a friend than just a professional colleague. I think that I would really love that. That's why I talked before about the informality of, yes, we all have titles. Yes, we all have job descriptions. Yes, I'm a landlord. But, if we know each other as people, he was a good guy. We chatted, we laughed, and not just, oh, I never saw him before, and oh, I don't know, whatever.
What's your superpower?
If you ask my daughter, I'm every man. I try and find a solution for everything. Like if she asks me something I have no idea how to do it, I'll go find out how to do it. God love YouTube, but I will find a way to make it happen. So I think it's just my superpower is just being her hero.
Who's your favorite person?
My favorite person's of all is my wife, hands
Tell,
down.
tell us why.
She is, I think the moment that I met her, I think our first date, we were at the valet, and I think I gave her a hug, and I told myself, I said, that's it. She's it. I knew it. I don't know why, but I knew it. And I was like playing the game. Should I text her tonight or tomorrow? I don't know. But I decided to go for it and texted her maybe a few hours later. She texted back, and then we started dating, and we just see eye to eye on just things about life. But she's also different. She's very independent. She is very driven. She went to, for example, she went to USC on her own, got a scholarship. She did what she had to do. She comes from a big family. I do not. She is just super, super, far smarter than I am. And, but someone I could just really engage and talk to. And I never get tired of it. She's gone to Target for 10 minutes. I miss her. I mean, it is, some people think that's corny, but I don't. I think she's just my absolute best friend. And she means the absolute world to me. I might cry now, but I spend every moment of every waking day thinking about her if I'm not with her. And we do everything together, just everything.
That's awesome. What advice would you give your former self?
Be patient. Yeah. And speak with a quieter tone. I'm already loud. I don't need to turn it up to 11. I'm talking loud right now in my head, and I think everybody in the office can hear what I'm saying right now. But just patience and quieter tone. You can get so much more accomplished by those two things.
What are you most proud of?
Well, professionally, I am most proud of the developments, the redevelopments, ground up projects that I've been a part of. Outside of Austin, probably the most proud one is the expansion of LA Airport a number of years ago, where if anybody's run through LA Airport prior to 2013, the international terminal was a terrible experience. And now with the expansion, and now LAX is just bustling, bursting at the seams. Opening that terminal up and partnering with the city of LA was an absolute amazing experience. So from a professional, personally, what I'm most proud of, our daughter.
This is one of those times you can point out some of her artwork. So tell us about that
Well,
work behind you.
so my I can't draw a straight line. Cannot do it. I can't even use Paint, that simple app on everybody's computer. And my wife, to my knowledge, has no artistic ability whatsoever. But for an 8-year-old, she has drawn this on her own. She loves art camp at the Art Barn near Lake Travis. She's been there the past couple of summers, and I'm so proud of her. Every day, or almost every day, she's doing something. If it's not gymnastics out in the street, she's painting something and handing it to me. And so I have some painting that just doesn't fit on this wall. But yeah, she is just very, very, very talented. I couldn't be more proud of her. Not bad for 8 years old.
Not bad. What's the best place you've ever lived?
Well, I mean, I hope I don't get in trouble for not saying Austin, but Austin is an incredible place to live. But San Diego is an absolute, an amazing place to live. I always said it's the easiest place to be a weatherman. You just get on the screen and say, it's 72 and sunny, back to you. But it's beautiful in San Diego.
Comedian too, I see. Okay. So, okay, we'll get these other two out of the way. Favorite book or book you'd recommend?
Oh gosh, my favorite book. I gotta say, it still is one of my favorites that I've ever read, is the Da Vinci Code. I know it's, but it's a famous book. A lot of people have read it. I am just a huge fan of that book. I read it cover to cover. It's really the only book I've ever really done that to. I just sat and read the whole thing.
Yeah, I read it too. It was interesting. My ex wanted me to read it, and so yeah, it was really interesting. And then when the movie came out, it was so disappointing because it was like, what?
Yes, it wasn't as good as the book, just
Yeah,
like they say, the
yeah,
cliche.
yeah.
That's right.
What do you enjoy doing in your leisure time?
My favorite thing to do is, again, I like to be with the family. It really doesn't matter what it is. I could be on the couch. I could be going downtown and walking around. I could be, but my favorite thing now being in Austin is finding some excuse to go out on Lake Travis or eating on a restaurant next to Lake Travis. I get most enjoyable. I'm probably the most relaxed driving around a pontoon boat. I think it's fantastic.
Very true. Why is diversity and equity important? And how are you using your power or your platform for good?
I think that's a great question. I love having a diverse staff and diverse types of retailers and people that work in the stores. From a service contract, I love going local. You'll be amazed on how much talent you find with going local. And through that process, you meet these entrepreneurs, particularly minority entrepreneurs, that are so good at what they do. They're just not nationally known. And I started that when my experience at LAX, continued it in Houston, and now in Austin. And I found that when you go local, you reach out to the local community and find out the expert in that particular field. And so I'm very proud to say that we have minority business or women business enterprise in most of our third parties, major service contracts, be it landscaping, um, security, janitorial, our training program, a mentor of mine who's just an absolutely fabulous woman named Andre Harris. She's just absolutely amazing. Uh, and those relationships stay with you. And I think, and it also improves just, you walk outside and you see um, the diverse customers out there from all walks of life. And if you can uh, do that for the people that, for example, as a landlord that I contract with, the people that shop here, and you say, not just say that you want to have a uh, open, inviting atmosphere, but you're actually doing it. It's the action. So as people are walking around, they see people with a Domain Northside logo on their lapel. That they know that we're not just throwing words out there that get lost in the wind, but that we're actually thinking about, and again, stop, think, listen, act on ways to show that you really are supportive of the melting pot that we're all part of. I love giving people the opportunity to shine. I remember for example, I met our janitorial company. It was a friend of a friend, and someone led to a lunch, and it happened. And the guy named Jose Perez, and just absolutely hit it off. Bam! I knew he was the guy. We ended up doing a contract. I've done business with him for now 8 years. He's just an amazing guy, an amazing company, all minority business owned. It's absolutely fantastic.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, my wife keeps calling me. I'm not sure. Can we
No,
pause real quick?
I can, yes, I'll.
Okay. She's called me 3 times. I hope everything's okay. Hold on one second.
Is,
The power went out, so
oh God, that was
she
like.
so I just got a text from Austin Energy that said the power will be restored at 3:41.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm gonna text that to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She works from home.
Let
She
me
works
tell you,
remotely. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's hard. Let me tell you. And you don't want to get that call. Did you pay the bill?
yeah, right. No, I of course I instantly thought of that. Wait a minute, I just got the bill.
Well,
So sorry about that.
No worries. This is my last question. And I know we're a little over, but my last question is, this award is given to people who are making impact, people who are making a huge impact in the community and using their platform to help others who don't look like them. And so, you're nominated, and we have a long list every year. And so we go through the list and we start, crossing out, because I
Sure.
do the research, and because, it's one thing, I know you, and, I know the work that you've done, but it's more when other people, see the work and know, because that means that it's real, right? Because you can,
Absolutely.
the relationship you and I have, I know what's going on, but other people, when they do it, it's different. So what does it mean to you to be selected as not just, nominated, but selected as the top 10 for 2021 as a diversity champion?
Well, I think it's an absolute tremendous honor um, to be selected in the top 10. I have, like I said before, you if you not just talk, but you get ideas and you put when you listen to feedback and you put a plan together. And again, my primary job at Domain Northside in the role that I have is to ensure that this is a welcoming, inviting, fun, friendly environment from all walks of life, not just a particular demographic. All demographics. As our retailer mix checking the box on all of that? If not, what can we do? Who can we talk to in the local from the local business community to either mentor them to be able to come to a shopping center like this, or right out become a retailer? And I know we've done that before, and I'm very proud of some of the minority business owners here. And I'm a minority myself. My mom is from Puerto Rico, and so knowing that, and I'm most proud of her for accomplishing everything that she has in life. But not everybody looked like her when she started in the early '70s in New York, and so I recognize that. And whenever there's an opportunity to give, uh, for lack of a better word, of chance to really rest. Like I said, when we're talking about local businesses, if you're a local landscaper or you're a local janitorial company and your business is really small, and I can give you a chance to really peak up your business and really land something big because of a relationship that I built with you. And if that's an opportunity to someone who really might not have had the audience with a national developer, uh, that to me is my way of giving back, because we give this person an opportunity to really grow their business, to get their voice heard out there on a larger platform, so they can grow their business and say, "Hey, I do X for Domain Northside. Let me come and do it for you." And that company, if they're being bid, can come talk to me, and I could say, "They are absolutely fantastic. I think you should give them a chance. You'll be surprised at what happens, and the dedication and hard work and the philosophy and the culture that they bring as their company will match ours or match yours. And together, as a community, no matter what you look like, you can improve everybody along the way." And so I think that's what I'm about. That's what certainly the company that I work for is about. There's absolutely no doubt that I have the absolute full support of my boss, who is the president of Northwood Retail. He and I talk often about this topic, and he is 100% supportive. And that's the reason why I love to do what I do every day in, day out. I wake up, smile on my face. I try to go to bed in the same way. And say, did I have a good day? Did I make a difference today? If not, how can I make it tomorrow? And so that's how I live my life.
That's awesome. Well, like I said, that was my last question. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I think no, not really. I think I think I'm. I one thing I will say is, excuse me. one thing that I will say is that these are wonderful questions, sort of inward thinking, things that I'm not asked every day. So I kind of like that.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine I get all kinds of emails from like the secretaries and PR people asking me what the questions are beforehand. And, and it's like, it's about you, and it's about you as a person. It's always more authentic when, you can, like you said, look inward and say, okay, you know what, this is what I feel is best. And, it allows people to see who you are as a person. So.
Well, I appreciate that. And I really enjoyed this conversation. This has been great. This has just been great.
Well, it's funny. I remember, I interviewed Wallace Jefferson, who's like the first Black Supreme Court Justice for Texas, and he's very introverted. And so he goes, I think I've told you more than I've ever told my wife about me, because it's like, it's questions that sometimes you don't think about, but it's, this is a snapshot of what Austin looks like today. And so for us to be able to go back and listen to you and know, people will see the domain Northside, and they'll say, okay, well, how did it get here?
Yeah.
So that's it. But anyway, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Look forward to seeing you on the 20th.
Yes, can't wait to meet that beautiful wife of yours.
Oh, thanks. I did tell her about it. She was super excited. She got a big Kool-Aid smile. I know you and I have talked about Andre in the past. She is going to try her best to come as well.
Yeah, that would be great if she can make it.
So I texted her, and she sent me a lot of balloons on my phone. And so I hope she lives in Houston, but I think she might be able to make it.
Awesome. Well, we hope so. Can't wait to see you guys pretty soon.
Well, I look forward to it.
All right.
I look forward to it.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Anita. Talk soon. All right. Bye-bye.